everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going through some practice questions about human development. This is intended for the ASWB exam. That stands for the Association of Social Work Boards exam. This is the exam you have to take to be a licensed clinical social worker. So you'll see a lot of times it's called the LCSW exam or the clinical social worker exam. Okay, so let's get into it. A 13-year-old client is referred to a social worker due to declining academic performance and increased conflict with parents. During sessions, the client expresses a strong desire for independence, but also reports feeling confused and unsure about their identity. According to Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, which developmental conflict is this client most likely experiencing? A, trust versus mistrust. B, autonomy versus shame and doubt. C, initiative versus guilt. Or D, identity versus role confusion. So A, B, C, or D, what do you think? And the answer is D, identity versus role confusion. At adolescence, which is roughly ages 12 to 18, Erikson's theory identifies identity versus role confusion as the central psychosocial conflict. Teens work on developing a sense of personal identity, and failure to do so may result in confusion about their place in society. A social worker is conducting a developmental assessment of a 3-year-old child. The child is able to dress with some help, speaks in simple sentences, and occasionally shows defiant behavior when asked to follow directions. According to developmental theories, which stage best describes the child's current psychosocial task? A, industry versus inferiority. B, autonomy versus shame and doubt. C, initiative versus guilt. Or D, trust versus mistrust. A, B, C, or D, what do you think? And the answer is B, autonomy versus shame and doubt. According to Erikson, children between the ages of 1 and 3 are in the autonomy versus shame and doubt stage, where they begin asserting independence. Success leads to feelings of autonomy, while failure or excessive criticism may result in shame and doubt. A 68-year-old client begins meeting with a social worker after retiring from a 40-year career. The client expresses mixed emotions, pride in their accomplishments, but also regret about not pursuing other personal interests. The client wonders if their life had real meaning. According to Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, which stage is this client most likely navigating? A, ego integrity versus despair. B, generativity versus stagnation. C, identity versus role confusion. Or D, intimacy versus isolation. So A, B, C, or D, what do you think? And the answer is A, ego integrity versus despair. Erikson's final stage, ego integrity versus despair, typically occurs in late adulthood, around age 65 and older. Individuals reflect on their lives, and success leads to feelings of fulfillment and wisdom, while failure results in regret and despair. A social worker observes a 6-year-old child during a play therapy session. The child is able to classify objects by multiple characteristics, understands the concept of conservation, and can consider another person's perspective. According to Piaget, which stage of cognitive development is the child most likely in? A. Sensory motor. B. Pre-operational. C. Concrete operational. Or D. Formal operational. And the answer is C. Concrete operational. Between the ages of 7 and 11, children enter Piaget's concrete operational stage, characterized by logical thinking about concrete events, understanding conservation, classification, and decentering, considering multiple aspects of a situation. A social worker is consulting with a teacher about a 5-year-old student who is struggling to complete certain classroom tasks independently, but performs much better when guided by the teacher or a more advanced peer. The social worker explains that this pattern is consistent with which concept from Vygotsky's theory of cognitive development? A. Scaffolding. B. Assimilation. C. Concrete operations. Or D. Classical conditioning. Okay, A, B, C, or D, what do you think? Well, the answer is A. Scaffolding. Vygotsky emphasized the zone of proximal development, ZPD, which is the gap between what a child can do alone and what they can do with help. Scaffolding refers to the support provided by a more knowledgeable other to help the child accomplish tasks within the ZPD. This concept is central to Vygotsky's theory, which emphasizes learning through social interaction. And our last question of the day. A social worker is conducting a developmental assessment with a 6-year-old child. The child can classify objects by color and shape, understands that pouring water from a short, wide cup into a tall, narrow glass does not change the amount of water, and can follow multi-step instructions. According to Piaget's stages of cognitive development, which stage is the child most likely in? A. Sensory motor stage. B. Pre-operational stage. C. Concrete operational stage. Or D. Formal operational stage. So be thinking A, B, C, or D. What do you think? Well, the answer is C. Concrete operational stage. The concrete operational stage, ages 7 to 11, is marked by the development of logical thinking, conservation, classification, and the ability to follow concrete rules and tasks. The child's understanding of conservation and classification tasks aligns with this stage. Thank you so much for watching. Please do me a huge favor and comment below. Let me know how you did. I'm always curious if my questions are easy, hard, what people think. So any of that feedback really helps me in making future content. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release one video a week that helps at least one discipline for like one of the therapist exams. So I have NCE content, NCMHCE content, CPCE content. This is my first social worker one, and then I'm going to do some MFT content in the future. Best of luck on your journey towards becoming a therapist.